Hey everyone, welcome back. In today's video, I'm bringing you another terrifying true story. This one will make you question every creak, every shadow, and every flicker of light in your home. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. These videos take a lot to put together, and your support truly means the world to me. Now, turn off the lights, sit back, and get ready for one of the most chilling tales I've ever shared. Let's dive in. Haunted by Shadows, my story. It started as an ordinary night. I had just moved into a small, secluded apartment on the outskirts of town. The place was older, but it had charm, creaky wooden floors, vintage fixtures, and a view of the forest. I loved how quiet it was, a perfect escape from the chaos of city life. Little did I know that the silence would soon become suffocating. That evening, I was sitting on my couch, scrolling aimlessly through my phone, when I heard it for the first time, a soft creak from the hallway. It was faint, almost easy to ignore, and I dismissed it as the old building settling. A few minutes later, it happened again, this time louder, almost deliberate. I paused, holding my breath, straining to hear. Nothing. Trying to shake the unease creeping over me, I turned on the TV for some background noise. The flickering screen filled the room with a dim glow, but I couldn't focus. The air felt heavy, as if the walls themselves were closing in. That's when I noticed it, the faintest shadow moving along the wall just beyond the doorway. I froze. "Hello?" I called out, my voice breaking the stillness. No answer. I grabbed my phone, turning on the flashlight, and cautiously walked toward the hallway. Each step seemed louder than the last, echoing in the oppressive silence. The light from my phone trembled as I pointed it down the hall. Nothing. Relieved, I laughed nervously at myself and headed back to the couch. As I sat down, the overhead light flickered once, twice, then plunged the room into darkness. I was enveloped by a blackness so complete it felt alive. My phone was my only source of light, and its weak glow barely illuminated the space around me. That's when I heard it again, this time, closer. The unmistakable sound of footsteps, slow and deliberate, coming from the hallway. My breath hitched. The shadows seemed to shift and swell, taking on a shape that wasn't there before. I stood frozen as the shadow grew taller, darker, almost humanoid but not quite right. It didn't move like a person, it rippled, like smoke caught in a breeze. I wanted to scream, to run, but my legs wouldn't cooperate. Then, the whispering started. At first, it was faint, like the rustling of leaves, but soon it grew louder, more distinct. I couldn't make out the words, but they felt cold, sharp, like they were clawing at my sanity.
"Leave.
They seemed to hiss.
You shouldn't be here."
Summoning every ounce of courage, I bolted toward the front door. My fingers fumbled with the lock, and for a horrifying moment, it felt like the door wouldn't budge. Finally, I yanked it open and stumbled outside, gasping for air. I didn't go back inside that night. Instead, I stayed in my car, parked down the street, watching the apartment from a distance. The windows stared back at me, dark and unyielding, as if daring me to return. The next morning, I went back with a friend to grab my things. The apartment felt different in the daylight, almost normal, but I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. As I packed, my friend noticed something strange. "Hey," he said, pointing to the hallway wall. "What's this?" I turned to see faint scratch marks etched into the wood, trailing all the way down the hall. My stomach dropped. I hadn't noticed them before. I moved out that same day, breaking my lease without explanation. To this day, I can't walk down a dimly lit hallway without feeling that same oppressive dread, as if the shadows are watching, waiting. Whatever it was, it didn't want me there, and I'm not sure it's entirely gone.